Hello everyone and welcome to a LEGO discussion video, which is new for my channel. But recently we have had the official reveals for the LEGO City train sets for 2022. So this carries on the 4-year cycle of the City Line getting new train sets, and with pictures being revealed online of the cargo train, the passenger train, and a new dedicated train station, I'm going to make this video talking about my initial thoughts on these items and as to whether I think I will go ahead and make a purchase for them. Because as someone who has done a lot in the LEGO Train hobby already, buying sets is something I don't really do. I never really did so anyways, but these have a lot of potential to become very popular. So we're going to kick things off with the cargo train. Now, this was the first of the 3 sets to be revealed, and I will be doing that in that order as well. So the cargo train was the first to be revealed, passenger train was the next one, and the station was the last to be revealed. So, the cargo train. Upon first glance, with pictures on the screen, of course, the pictures themselves are not going to be too flashy. You're not going to really see anything change. This is going to be more of a podcast style of video, so that's just a bit of a heads up if you're going to watch this. But all the same, this looks nice. The locomotive itself looks really stylish. I love how it's got so much brick-built detailing going on compared to using massive shapes, massive singular shapes that is, to represent the cab. There is a lot of pieces being used to build up a certain style. I love the sort of yellow lining that's going along the top. It does look good. As a diesel electric, it looks really good. So, what about the wagons? First of all, there is a wagon that looks to be a car carrier, and this looks amazing. I don't think we've ever had anything like this in LEGO. I don't recall anything from like the 9-volt era, for example, when wagons were a bit more stylistic. But this, especially for the City Line, looks really cool. So there are 2 road vehicles, 2 cars that are included that would fit on this wagon. One of them being in the background of the box art. And yeah, it makes sense for them to be kind of small city cars in order to fit in the first place. And I still really love that wagon. That's something that is really cool. I would love to have a few of these kind of wagons on my layouts just because it's something different. So yeah, that alone, very cool. Behind that on the front box art is the open plank wagon. And that's what this is supposed to represent, but it uses a bunch of 4x6 plates that can be positioned into sort of, well, like rotated, and you kind of snap them into certain positions and it kind of stays open, that sort of thing. It's simple, again, it's City Line, but at the same time, open plank wagons are something that you would always need loads of, and this design is not a bad one at all, especially the ability to simply open it up by using just one of the plates to just position it as such is really cool. The third wagon looks to be a bit more interesting, a bit more interesting than the open wagon, that is, where we have a standard kind of crate carrier wagon. I don't remember what the name is for this, but it's one of the, not a flatbed, this one's a lot shorter in terms of like wheelbase, but it definitely has the ability to hold 2 crates on it, and the crates themselves make sense as to why they're open, again, because it's a city set, it's, you know, the playability of it. But I really wish these were sold in a way that had sort of doors on them. Something like a sliding door, maybe. Something that just made it look a bit more cleaner. Just having this open like that, you would never see that in real life. So that's basically the train and the 3 wagons. The loop of track that we get is very cool. We get 16 straight tracks with this set. That is the most amount of straight tracks that we've ever gotten with a train set, city or otherwise. That's so cool. I love that we're getting more straight tracks because that means we can make a bigger loop. And of course we have a switch as well, which in turn has its own sort of siding thing going on. Yeah, I believe you can get some brick built points to put on the end of that siding. I don't think I've got the image available at the time, but it's still really cool to see that that's the loop that we can basically come up with. And of course, with this being Power Up, we do have its own controller, which is excellent because I think when Power Up stuff first came out, controllers weren't too common. Everyone was kind of pushed to use the app, but having to open up an app was just a pain in the ass. So ultimately, yeah, I'm actually quite keen for this, but there is something I'm not too fond of, and this is something that drives up the price, I think, in a very unfair way. So we don't have a building or structure of any kind. Instead, in that place, we have this crane vehicle. That crane looks pretty good. I've seen other images about this crane, and it does, again, especially for a city build, looks very cool. We do technically have a structure in the form of the electric car recharger station, which you can see in the background of the box art. But, that's so underwhelming. We normally get a crane of some kind with the cargo train sets anyways, but a crane vehicle, for me, just feels like a little bit less. That's something I really wish was a bit smaller, just so we can have another structure. Even if it's just like a worksman hut or something, it feels a bit incomplete because of that, at least in my opinion. Now, there is something else when it comes to these sets, and that is the price. So these sets were officially kind of revealed in euros. I believe the leaks had the US dollar amounts revealed, but I haven't seen the British pound sterling amount anywhere. So the translation is a rough one, and it's also slightly rounded up to a nice good figure to where it makes sense, but I fear this isn't going to be exactly correct. So this cargo train was revealed to be at 180 euros. It's a bit sucky because that's how much the last one in 2018 came to. And it was a bit expensive, but in time we got used to it. We kind of accepted, there's a few factors that come into play as to why it's that much. But that's 180 euros, about $190 US. And that translates to about £160 here in the UK. If it's 160, I'll be okay with it. But if LEGO charge £180, then I am not even going to look at this. Because the set itself does look appealing, but for pound sterling, that's just too much. It honestly does take the mick. There is a few things to take into consider when it comes to currency conversion. It's its own conversation for another day, which I probably won't even have. But for me, this does affect as to whether I will consider buying this or not. I might ultimately give it some time, have a look at Bricklink to see if anybody's going to be selling these sets on at a cheaper price, which is something that did happen remarkably well with the 2018 releases, the cargo train in particular. So there's always the potential for me to grab one of these at a big discount. All the same, £160 is what I have translated the revealed price to in pound sterling. Again, at the time of recording, this isn't official. I'm still a bit hesitant, but we'll find out when it comes to June 1st. Next, we're going to talk about the passenger train. And my goodness, when I posted this online and seeing other people kind of reveal this in Facebook groups about LEGO trains, and even some of the LUKR guys, they were either in love with how it looks or they despise how it looks. And I thought that was really hilarious because I, for one, think this looks amazing. The nose of the train itself is brick built, and that is infinitely better than the solid piece that was used to make the cabs, like we saw with the 2014 and 2018 sets. Now, this is also doing what the previous train set did, as well as the Horizon Express, and I still support this, where it's basically half of the train. You've got the front end and two coaches, so you could buy another one of these and have one really long train. That, for me at least, is quite excellent, because if you wanted to get a second one of these anyways, you would have to modify one of the ends to try and turn it into a coach, and that was just really finicky and stupid. So ultimately, this is a good thing. Now, this, I am in the camp of it's looking absolutely stunning. And apparently this is like a shade of lime green. I don't know if it's just the pictures I've been able to find, or if I need to look at the bricks in person to decide, oh, that's what this color of brick actually looks like. It's an interesting choice, maybe something we can see some more bricks in the future in. There's this massive sort of triangular slope piece at the nose as well, in this shade of, again, I believe it's green. Very interesting stuff. I do like how this looks overall. There are some things I'm not too fond of. The one thing I dislike the most about the set are the use of the doors. Now, these look like they're double doors. I think these are sort of like 1x5 by, or even 1x6x6. I think they're 6 wide doors. It's a bit difficult to tell with these pictures, but they're double doors. That's cool. But they're doors that you would find at the front of a building, not necessarily the doors you would see on a train. So, yeah, it's an interesting stylistic choice, and it definitely says Lego City. But, you know, it could definitely have been a bit more refined. But at the same time, we have doors on a passenger train set. If you think back to all the passenger train sets we got in the past in the Lego City line, they didn't have doors. This one does. I am very happy with that. Another thing I think is quite interesting is that with the power-up units that are sold with this set, this one comes with lights. So it's excellent to see that you can have that option to add the lights instead of saying you could add lights and buy them separately. No, that's something that's included, and that in turn kind of brings up the price of this set a little bit. So the revealed price for this set was 150 euros, and I think the original leak price for US dollars was 180. I think that was still a bit too much, and of course leaks aren't always 100% correct, but 150 euros translates to about 130 pounds. This, when I first saw this, I looked at this and said, this is basically the city version of the Horizon Express. It's like a budget Horizon Express in modern day. I have my Horizon Express, and I'll probably just stick to that one. But this, if you missed out all those years ago, this is definitely something worth getting in my opinion, because this looks amazing. There is something else with this set and the cargo train sets that some people haven't recognized, and they're kind of ignorant to. So this is going to take a bit of explaining, but it's the sad truth. If you go back in the video and have a look at the cargo train set, and you have a look at this passenger train set, look at the wheels. If you look carefully enough and look closely enough, the wheel designs being used here are the same wheel brackets that were used and first introduced in the 2019 Disney train set, where the plastic wheels were used, where there's no metal bar going through anymore. That production has completely ceased. And the reason why this is a bad thing is because these new wheels were designed with the idea of making rolling easier, making it smoother, so you can have more of these wheels used on wagons in a line, and it would be a much more effective way of just basically moving your wagons around a layout. However, when tests were done, I remember fellow LUKR member Andrew Harvey, aka Techno Andrew, who did his test. He was very disappointed with the fact that these type of wheels were by far and away the worst performing wheels that LEGO have ever produced. So it's what we're stuck with now, but they're worse than what they were before, which is such a shame. So yeah, there's definitely lots of things to consider with that, but at the same time, we are getting these wheel designs in black, where I think the only versions we got in the past with these wheels were the red ones we got with the Disney train. So more parts availability in different colors, I suppose, if anything. Yeah, maybe. But all in all, this looks very tempting. The sad thing is, for me personally, I would only ever get these for the review. I would not keep these around for the sakes of, actually wanting to keep on my layout. I have the Horizon Express, and I, for one, will forever see that as one of the more dominant and one of the best LEGO train sets ever made. But this is absolutely gorgeous, in my opinion. Maybe one day I will buy two to get the full set. Buying one is definitely fair, but you're better off buying two, just because it's more complete that way. So the last train set that was revealed for the City line is a train station. And this is the one I was looking forward to the most. And when I saw pictures, I was quite intrigued, especially when more clear pictures came out. But then there was the issue of what actually is in this set, spending a moment to actually think about what's in this and comparing it to the price. So the leak price was $100 US. The reveal price is 100 euros, and that translates to about £85 Great British Sterling. So £85 is probably not what they're going to charge. They're most likely going to charge £90. which is, again, that's a few pounds more than what it actually should be, but Lego are going to charge 90 just because they can, and I can't exactly do anything about it. It might just be another case of, oh, let's see if anybody's selling it at a discount, and only then I might go for it. But to talk about the set itself, the station itself looks modern. It looks modern and it fits Lego City style. It's a normal kind of suburban sort of feel to it, but they've been able to restylize this as a station. And I still appreciate the fact, very much so, that we have a new City Train station set. This is excellent stuff. However, we begin to look a little bit more into what's with this set. So the station itself is only half of what's included. We have a road plate piece, which kind of bumps up the price a little bit. There were a couple of people who saw the road plate and thought, this is something that I do not care about, because apparently some people out there are still against road plates. So, okay, I suppose, fair enough. We also have 2 vehicles, 3 if you want to be technical, but we will get to these all right now. So first of all, a bus. And thinking back of all of the city buses that have been made, this, in my opinion, is one of the nicer ones. Maybe it's because it's in blue compared to all those garish yellow ones, but this looks very compact, it looks very cool. And yeah, honestly, again, as city buses go, this is quite nice. But parts used for the bus have taken up parts that could have gone into the station. Even the fact that this bus exists, you could wipe that out, just have the road plate thing anyways, and take down the price by about £15. That would have been completely fine. We also have this orange maintenance vehicle, which looks like it was the last thing to be made. So they thought, okay, make the station, make the bus, we got all this thing going on, we can have something else. Okay, let's make this maintenance vehicle. And it does look a bit squished for what it's trying to be. There is sort of an elevated platform in the back of the vehicle, and it looks like it can only go up by a few studs. It doesn't look very impressive. What is impressive, however, is the fact that this comes with a porta potty. Now, there is a genuine sense of realism to this, where some people on some Lego Train Facebook groups were saying, well, you know, if workmen are going to be working on a railway and they need to use the lavatory, they're either going to go in the bushes or they're going to create a problem, basically. It's going to be an issue if they're going to want to go and there's nothing suitable around. So having a portable toilet with them is actually very realistic. And that's, after having learned that, is very cool. So yeah, I can definitely dig the maintenance vehicle. The bus I kind of wish wasn't involved, because the station could have then been a bit cheaper, or at least those parts could have been used on the station itself. But overall, it's a very nice package. One of the things that people have been getting excited about is the 2 ramp pieces that are included with this station. So on both ends of the track, we have ramp pieces, and this was only ever seen once before in the Hidden Side train set. And that was a very interesting piece, on the sense that if you've got just track on the floor, you know, you're a casual fan and you don't want to spend the finicky moments of trying to make sure all the wheel pieces are actually on the track, you can just have it go up the ramp and straight away it's railed and ready to go. That is very cool indeed. And the fact that we're getting 2, that's so cool. So yeah, I think the station is a very cool set, and again, of the 3 is the one I am most likely going to get. I might wait for these sets to go on a discount before I go out for them on June 1st. I am probably going to give it a few weeks, maybe even a few months on Bricklink to see if anybody's going to be selling at a discount, because again, I'm thinking back to some of the previous City Train sets that were put on a heavy discount. Again, they were sealed brand new, but they were just way cheaper. There are going to be some stores that will be selling these at a discount probably as well. Again, thinking back to the 2018 cargo train sets I got, because that was on a sort of 20% off discount, which was very cool indeed. But ultimately, these City Train sets look amazing. They look like some of the best City Train sets that have ever been released. I have held the regard of the 2014 sort of blue cargo train sets being the best cargo train sets in the City line by far. Honestly, this new one might just beat it. As an overall package, it might have a bit to kind of contend with, but I think it can do it. The passenger train set, easily, in terms of the City Line, this is the best high-speed passenger train set to be released in the City Line, and it looks just wonderful. The station, it definitely has its modern looks to it, but that's going to be its own sort of judgment call. You can't really compare it to too much. There was one other station released in the City Line. Well, actually, there were two. But given the massive gap and the gap in the releases and the updated techniques used to be able to build stuff with Lego, it's not going to be too much of a fair comparison. But the fact that we are getting another station, again, in of itself, is wonderful. So that is everything I have when it comes to thoughts and opinions on these sets. It is going to be a very interesting time to see all the reviews for these sets come online. Do keep an eye out on my channel in case I ever end up getting these sets. Again, I am most likely going to get a hold of the station at some point. The passenger train sets, maybe one day, but the cargo train sets, that would definitely be on the bottom of the list in terms of things to get. So that'll be it for this video. Thank you all ever so much for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already. I will see you all in the next episode. Bye-bye.